A happy relationship is not built on feelings alone, it is built on foundation. Feelings come and go, but a foundation remains. And too many people are trying to build something permanent on something temporary. You can't expect stability when your relationship is rooted only in emotion, because emotions shift with circumstances. A strong relationship is anchored in commitment, in purpose, and in values that don't change when life gets difficult. Hey, when two people decide that their connection is bigger than their moods, bigger than their frustrations, and even bigger than their disagreements, that's when they begin to experience something real, something that can stand the test of time. The first secret is understanding that love is a decision before it is ever a feeling. Anybody can love when it's easy, when everything is going right, when the other person is meeting every expectation. But the strength of love is revealed when things are not ideal. Real love chooses to stay respectful when it's upset. It chooses to stay kind when it's misunderstood. It chooses to give when it doesn't feel like giving. Because love is only based on convenience will disappear the moment inconvenience shows up. But when love becomes a daily decision, it develops depth, endurance, and power that feelings alone could never sustain. The second secret is alignment of purpose. A relationship cannot thrive when two people are moving in different directions. It doesn't matter how strong the attraction is. If the vision is divided, the relationship will eventually become strained. You were never meant to just exist side by side. You were meant to move forward together. When both individuals understand where they are going and why they are going there, it creates unity. And unity brings strength. But when purpose is unclear or conflicting, it creates confusion, and confusion will slowly erode even the strongest emotional bond. A happy relationship requires shared direction because without it, you're not building together. You're just coexisting. The third secret is communication that is honest, but also disciplined. Saying whatever you feel, however you feel it, is not communication. That's emotional release. True communication requires control. It requires listening, not just responding. It requires understanding, not just being heard. Too many relationships break down not because people don't talk, but because they don't communicate effectively. Words have power. They can build or they can destroy. And once they are spoken, you cannot take them back. A happy relationship is one where both individuals learn to speak in a way that brings clarity instead of confusion, healing instead of harm, and connection instead of distance. The fourth secret is the ability to forgive and let go. You cannot carry yesterday's pain into today's relationship and expect peace. It doesn't work like that. Every relationship will face mistakes, misunderstandings, and moments of disappointment. That's part of being human. But the difference between a broken relationship and a strong one is how those moments are handled. Holding on to resentment only poisons the connection. Forgiveness is not about ignoring the wrong. It's about releasing the burden so that healing can take place. When forgiveness becomes a regular practice, it keeps the relationship from being weighed down by the past and allows it to grow into something better. The fifth secret is personal responsibility. A relationship cannot thrive if both people are constantly pointing fingers instead of looking in the mirror. You are responsible for how you show up. You are responsible for your attitude, your actions, and your growth. Too often, people expect the other person to fix everything, to complete them, to carry the weight. But a healthy relationship is made up of two whole individuals who are both committed to becoming better, not just expecting better. When each person takes ownership of their role, it removes blame and replaces it with accountability. And accountability is what creates real change. A happy relationship is not something that just happens. It is something that is built, protected, and maintained with intention. It requires effort when you're tired, patience when you're frustrated, and commitment when it would be easier to walk away. But when it is done right, when these principles are lived out consistently, it creates something powerful. It creates a connection that is not easily shaken, not easily broken, and not easily replaced. Because it's not based on what comes and goes. It's based on what remains. Love is often misunderstood as a spontaneous emotion that appears when everything feels right. But in reality, it is much deeper and far more intentional than that. Feelings can be powerful, but they are also unstable, changing with circumstances, moods, and experiences. If love were only a feeling, it would never survive pressure, disappointment, or time. True love goes beyond emotion and enters the realm of decision, where a person consciously chooses to remain committed regardless of how they feel in a given moment. This shift from feeling to choice is what transforms from something temporary into something lasting. When everything is going well, choosing love seems effortless. There is harmony, excitement, and mutual understanding, making it easy to express care and affection. In those moments, love feels natural, almost automatic. But the true strength of love is not revealed in ease. It is revealed in difficulty. It shows itself when misunderstandings arise, when expectations are not met, and when emotions are no longer aligned. It is in those challenging moments that love requires intention, because without a conscious decision, it is easy to withdraw, to react negatively, or to give up altogether. Choosing love daily requires discipline. It means waking up and deciding that the relationship matters, even when your emotions are not fully supporting that decision. Discipline in love is not about suppressing feelings, but about guiding actions despite them. There will be days when frustration is high, when patience is low, and when the desire to distance yourself feels strong. In those moments, discipline becomes the bridge that keeps the connection intact. It reminds you that love is not about reacting to feelings, but about leading with purpose. One of the greatest challenges in choosing love is learning to respond rather than react. Reactions are often driven by temporary emotions such as anger, hurt, or pride. They are immediate and impulsive, and they cause damage that lingers far beyond the moment. Choosing love, on the other hand, requires a pause. It requires thoughtfulness and self-control. Instead of saying what feels right in the heat of the moment, you choose words that protect the relationship. Instead of acting out of frustration, you act out of commitment. This intentional response is what strengthens trust and preserves connection over time. Consistency plays a crucial role in making love a daily choice. It is not enough to choose love occasionally or only when it feels convenient. A real love is built through repeated actions that reflect care, respect, and commitment. Small, consistent choices, listening attentively, showing God appreciation, offering support, create a foundation that becomes stronger over time. These actions may seem simple, but their impact is profound. They communicate reliability and build a sense of security that allows the relationship to grow. Choosing love also means prioritizing the relationship even when life becomes busy or overwhelming. Responsibilities, stress, and external pressures can easily distract from what truly matters. It becomes easy to take the other person for granted or to assume that the relationship will maintain itself without effort. But love requires attention. It requires time, energy, and intentional focus. When you choose love daily, you make the relationship a priority, ensuring that it is nurtured rather than neglected. Another important aspect of choosing love is the willingness to understand rather than to win. In moments of disagreement, The natural tendency is to prove a point or to defend a position. However, love shifts the focus from being right to being connected. It values understanding over victory. Choosing love means listening to the other person's perspective with an open mind, even when you disagree. It means seeking resolution rather than dominance. This approach fosters mutual respect and strengthens the emotional bond. Sacrifice is an inevitable part of choosing love. It involves putting the needs of the relationship above personal convenience at times. This does not mean losing yourself, but rather being willing to give, compromise, and adjust for the sake of something greater. Sacrifice can be uncomfortable, but it is also a powerful expression of commitment. It shows that love is not self-centered, but relationship-centered. Through sacrifice, love becomes active and visible, demonstrating its depth and sincerity. Patience is another essential element in making love a daily choice. No relationship is perfect, and no person is without flaws. There will be moments of growth, learning, and even failure. Patience allows space for that process to unfold. It prevents quick judgments and harsh reactions. Instead of expecting immediate perfection, patience embraces progress. It acknowledges that love is a journey, not a destination, and that growth takes time. Choosing love also requires humility. Pride can be one of the greatest obstacles in any relationship. It resists apology, avoids accountability, and creates distance. Humility, on the other hand, allows you to admit when you are wrong, to take responsibility for your actions, and to seek reconciliation. It shifts the focus from protecting ego to protecting the relationship. This willingness to be humble strengthens trust and creates an environment where both individuals feel safe and valued. Trust is built through the consistent choice to love. It is not established overnight, nor is it maintained without effort. Every decision to act with integrity, honesty, and care contributes to the development of trust. Conversely, neglecting these choices can weaken it. Trust grows when both individuals know that love is not dependent on mood or circumstance, but is a reliable and steady presence in the relationship. There will be moments when choosing love feels exhausting. When repeated challenges arise, it can feel easier to withdraw or to give up. In those moments, it is important to remember why the relationship matters. Love is not always easy, but its value is found in its endurance. Choosing love during difficult times is what deepens the connection and creates resilience. It transforms the relationship into something that can withstand pressure and emerge stronger. Self-awareness plays a key role in the ability to choose love. Understanding your own emotions, triggers, and patterns allows you to respond more effectively. Without self-awareness, it is easy to fall into negative habits that harm the relationship. By recognizing these tendencies, you can make intentional choices that align with love rather than with impulse. This level of awareness empowers you to take control of your actions and contribute positively to the relationship. Gratitude is another powerful tool in sustaining the choice of love. When you focus on what you appreciate about the other person, it shifts your perspective. It becomes easier to see their value and to overlook minor frustrations. Gratitude reinforces positive feelings and strengthens emotional connection. It reminds you of the reasons you chose the relationship in the first place, helping you remain committed even when challenges arise. Ultimately, choosing love every day is what separates temporary connections from lasting relationships. It requires effort, intention, and a willingness to grow. It is not always easy, and it does not always feel natural, but it is always meaningful. Through daily choices, love becomes more than just a feeling. It becomes a foundation, a commitment, and a powerful force that shapes the relationship into something enduring and deeply fulfilling. A relationship without shared purpose may appear stable on the surface, but underneath, it lacks direction and meaning. Two people can spend years together, sharing space, routines, and even responsibilities, yet still feel a deep sense of emptiness. That emptiness does not come from a lack of time or proximity. It comes from a lack of alignment. When there is no shared vision, no common goal, the relationship becomes stagnant. It stops growing and starts drifting because there is nothing guiding it forward. A. Purpose is what gives a relationship its sense of movement. A. It answers the question of where the two individuals are going together and why they are going there. Without that clarity, every decision becomes uncertain. One person may be striving for growth while the other is comfortable staying the same. One may value long-term commitment while the other is focused only on the present. These differences, when not aligned under a shared purpose, create tension that slowly builds over time. When two people lack a shared purpose, they begin to operate as individuals rather than as a unit. Their lives may intersect, but they are not truly connected in direction. They may support each other occasionally, but they are not building something together. This creates a subtle distance that grows stronger with time. It becomes less about partnership and more about coexistence, where both individuals are simply navigating their own paths under the same roof. A shared purpose brings unity. It creates a sense of partnership that goes beyond emotional connection. It allows both individuals to work toward something greater than themselves. This could be a vision for the future, a commitment to personal growth, or a shared set of values that guide their decisions. When purpose is present, it aligns priorities and strengthens the bond because both individuals understand what they are building and why it matters. Without shared purpose, even small disagreements can feel overwhelming. When there is no bigger picture to hold on to, every conflict becomes magnified. Differences in opinion are no longer just differences. They become signs of incompatibility. This is because there is no unifying goal to bring perspective. Purpose acts as a stabilizing force, reminding both individuals that they are on the same team even when they disagree. A relationship with purpose requires intentional communication. It is not enough to assume that both people want the same things. Clarity must be established through honest conversations about goals, values, and expectations. Without these discussions, misunderstandings are inevitable. One person may believe they are building a future together, while the other sees the relationship as temporary. This lack of clarity can lead to disappointment and frustration. Shared purpose also creates motivation. When both individuals are aligned, they inspire each other to grow and improve. They push each other to become better versions of themselves, not out of pressure, but out of shared commitment. This mutual encouragement strengthens the relationship and creates a sense of progress. It transformed the connection from something passive into something active and dynamic. In the absence of purpose, routines can become repetitive and lifeless. Days begin to blend together, and the relationship loses its sense of excitement and direction. There is no forward momentum, no sense of achievement, and no vision to strive toward. This can lead to boredom and dissatisfaction, even if there are no major conflicts. The relationship simply lacks meaning, and over time, that absence becomes more noticeable. Purpose also influences decision-making. When two people share a common goal, their choices become more aligned. They consider how their actions impact the relationship as a whole rather than just their individual desires. This creates a sense of responsibility and accountability. Without purpose, decisions are often made independently, which can lead to conflict and disconnection. Trust is strengthened when there is shared purpose. both individuals feel secure knowing that they are moving in the same direction. There is less uncertainty about the future and more confidence in the relationship. This sense of security allows for deeper emotional connection and greater stability. Without purpose, doubt can creep in, creating questions about compatibility and long-term viability. A relationship that is built on purpose requires effort from both individuals. It is not something that happens automatically. It requires ongoing commitment to alignment, communication, and growth. Both people must be willing to adjust and adapt as circumstances change. This effort is what keeps the relationship moving forward and prevents it from becoming stagnant. When purpose is present, challenges are easier to navigate. Difficulties are seen as obstacles to overcome together, rather than as reasons to separate. The shared vision provides strength and resilience, allowing both individuals to stay committed even during tough times. Without purpose, challenges can feel like breaking points because there is no larger reason to stay and work through them. A lack of shared purpose can also lead to feelings of loneliness within the relationship. Even though two people are physically together, they may feel emotionally disconnected. This is because true connection comes from alignment, not just presence. When both individuals are not moving in the same direction, it creates a gap that cannot be filled by time or proximity alone. Developing a shared purpose requires self-awareness and honesty. Both individuals must understand their own goals and values before they can align with someone else. This process involves reflection and open communication. It may also require difficult conversations about compatibility and expectations. However, these conversations are necessary for building a strong and meaningful relationship. Ultimately, a relationship without shared purpose lacks the foundation needed for long-term growth and fulfillment. It may survive for a time, sustained by habit or convenience, but it will struggle to thrive. Purpose is what transforms a relationship from mere existence into intentional building. It gives direction, meaning, and strength. Allowing two individuals to create something that is not only lasting but deeply significant. Feelings are often the spark that brings two people together, creating excitement, attraction, and emotional connection. They generate that initial pull, the sense of chemistry that makes someone feel special and important. In the beginning, everything calls natural and effortless because emotions are high and both individuals are driven by the joy of discovery. However, while feelings are powerful in starting a relationship, they are not designed to carry it through every season of life. Emotions are constantly changing, influenced by circumstances, stress, expectations, and personal experiences. What feels intense today may feel distant tomorrow. This natural fluctuation means that if a relationship is built only on feelings, it becomes unstable. There will be moments when the emotional intensity fades, not because something is wrong, but because emotions are not meant to remain at the same level forever. Without something deeper to rely on, the relationship can begin to feel uncertain. Commitment is what provides stability when emotions shift. It is a decision that goes beyond how someone feels in a given moment. It is the choice to remain loyal, present, and invested, even when the excitement is not as strong as it once was. Commitment creates a sense of security, allowing both individuals to trust that the relationship is not dependent on temporary emotional highs. When challenges arise, feelings alone are often not strong enough to sustain the relationship. Disagreements, misunderstandings, and external pressures can create tension that weakens emotional connection. In those moments, commitment becomes the anchor. It keeps both individuals grounded and focused on working through difficulties rather than walking away from them. Commitment requires effort. It is not passive or automatic. It involves making intentional choices that support the health of the relationship. This includes showing up consistently, communicating openly, and being willing to invest time and energy. While feelings may inspire these actions in the beginning, commitment ensures that they continue even when motivation decreases. One of the key aspects of commitment is consistency. It is demonstrated through repeated actions over time, not just through words or promises. Consistency builds trust because it shows that the relationship is reliable and dependable. When someone knows that their partner will be there regardless of circumstances, it creates a deeper level of connection and confidence. Sacrifice is also an important part of commitment. It means being willing to put the needs of the relationship above personal convenience at times. This does not mean losing individuality, but rather recognizing that a strong relationship requires compromise and mutual effort. Sacrifice reflects the value placed on the relationship and reinforces the bond between both individuals. Commitment also involves choosing to stay engaged during difficult moments. It is easy to be present when everything is going well, but true commitment is revealed when things become challenging. It is the willingness to have uncomfortable conversations, to address issues directly, and to work toward resolution instead of avoidance. Trust is closely tied to commitment. When both individuals are committed, it creates a sense of safety within the relationship. There is less fear of abandonment or betrayal because commitment provides reassurance that both people are dedicated to maintaining the connection. This trust allows for deeper emotional intimacy and openness. Another important aspect of commitment is growth. A relationship cannot remain static if it is to last over time. Both individuals must be willing to evolve, learn, and improve. Commitment means supporting each other's growth and adapting to changes together. It ensures that the relationship continues to develop rather than becoming stagnant. Feelings can sometimes be misleading, especially during moments of frustration or disappointment. In those times, it may feel easier to distance oneself or question the relationship. Commitment provides clarity in those situations, reminding both individuals of the bigger picture and the reasons they chose to be together in the first place. Patience plays a significant role in sustaining commitment. Growth and understanding do not happen instantly. There will be periods of adjustment and learning, and patience allows those processes to unfold naturally. It prevents impulsive decisions based on temporary emotions and encourages long-term thinking. Communication is strengthened by commitment. When both individuals are dedicated to the relationship, they are more likely to engage in honest and constructive conversations. They seek to understand each other rather than to win arguments. This approach fosters respect and helps resolve conflicts in a healthy way. Over time, commitment deepens the relationship in ways that feelings alone cannot achieve. It creates a bond that is rooted in trust, respect, and shared experience. This depth brings a sense of fulfillment and stability that goes beyond the excitement of the initial stages. A lasting relationship is not defined by constant emotional intensity, but by the ability to remain steady through change. Feeling may bring two people together, but it is commitment that keeps them connected, allowing the relationship to endure, grow, and become something meaningful over time. Communication is one of the most powerful forces within any relationship because it shapes how two people understand, connect with, and respond to each other. It is not just about talking, but about how thoughts, emotions, and intentions are expressed and received. Every word spoken carries weight, and over time, those words build a foundation of trust and connection or create cracks that weaken the bond. The way people communicate determines whether a relationship grows stronger or gradually begins to fall apart. Many people assume that as long as they are speaking, they are communicating effectively, but that is not always the case. Communication is not just about expressing what is on your mind. It is about ensuring that the other person feels heard, understood, and respected. When communication lacks clarity or empathy, it creates confusion and distance. Misunderstandings begin to form, and small issues can quickly escalate into larger problems simply because they were not addressed properly. Tone plays a critical role in communication, often more than the words themselves. The same sentence can have completely different meanings depending on how it is delivered. A harsh tone can turn a simple statement into an attack, while a calm and respectful tone can make even difficult conversations feel safe. Over time, negative tones can create an environment of tension where both individuals feel guarded and defensive. In contrast, a positive and understanding tone fosters openness and trust. Listening is just as important as speaking, yet it is often overlooked. Many people listen with the intention of responding rather than understanding. This creates a disconnect because the other person may feel ignored or invalidated. True listening requires focus, patience, and the willingness to fully absorb what is being said. When someone feels genuinely heard, it strengthens the emotional connection and builds a sense of mutual respect. Honesty is essential in communication, but it must be balanced with care. Being honest does not mean being harsh or insensitive. It means expressing truth in a way that is constructive rather than destructive. When honesty is delivered without empathy, it can cause hurt and resentment. However, when it is combined with kindness and respect, it becomes a tool for growth and deeper understanding within the relationship. Consistency in communication builds stability. When both individuals communicate openly and regularly, it creates a predictable and secure environment. There are no hidden feelings or unspoken expectations. Everything is brought to the surface and addressed in a healthy way. Inconsistent communication, on the other hand, leads to uncertainty and doubt. It leaves room for assumptions, which can often be inaccurate and damaging. Unresolved issues are one of the biggest threats to a relationship, and they are often the result of poor communication. When problems are ignored or avoided, they do not disappear, they grow. Small frustrations can turn into deep resentment if they are not addressed. Effective communication allows issues to be resolved early, preventing them from becoming overwhelming. It creates an opportunity for healing rather than prolonged conflict. Respect is the foundation of healthy communication. Without it, even the most honest conversations can become harmful. Respect means valuing the other person's feelings, opinions, and perspective, even when they differ from your own. It involves speaking in a way that does not belittle, insult, or dismiss. When respect is present, communication becomes a bridge that connects rather than a weapon that divides. Emotional control is another key factor in communication. During moments of anger or frustration, it is easy to say things that cannot be taken back. These words can leave lasting damage, even if they are later regretted. Learning to pause, to manage emotions, and to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively is essential. This level of control protects the relationship from unnecessary harm. Clarity is important in ensuring that messages are understood correctly. Vague or indirect communication can lead to confusion and misinterpretation. Being clear about feelings, needs, and expectations helps both individuals stay aligned. It removes guesswork and reduces the likelihood of misunderstandings. Clear communication creates a sense of direction and purpose within the relationship. Nonverbal communication also plays a significant role. Body language, facial expressions, and gestures can reinforce or contradict spoken words. A person may say something positive, but their tone or expression may suggest otherwise. Being aware of nonverbal cues and ensuring they align with verbal communication enhances understanding and trust. It shows sincerity and authenticity. The frequency of communication matters as well. Regular interaction helps maintain connection and prevents emotional distance. When communication becomes infrequent or superficial, the relationship can start to feel disconnected. Consistent, meaningful conversations keep both individuals engaged and aware of each other's thoughts and feelings. It strengthens the bond by keeping the connection alive. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but communication determines how it is handled. Healthy communication turns conflict into an opportunity for growth, while poor communication turns it into a source of division. When both individuals approach conflict with the intention to understand and resolve, it strengthens the relationship. It builds resilience and deepens trust. Encouragement and positive communication are often underestimated. Expressing appreciation, acknowledging efforts, and offering support can have a powerful impact. These positive interactions create a balance that offsets the challenges and difficulties. They remind both individuals of the value they bring to each other's lives and reinforce the emotional connection. Over time, the way people communicate becomes the atmosphere of the relationship. It shapes how both individuals feel when they are together. If communication is negative, critical, and inconsistent, the relationship will feel heavy and strained. If it is positive, respectful, and open, the relationship will feel safe and fulfilling. The bond is not just influenced by what is said, but by how it is said and how often it is expressed. Moving forward in a relationship requires emotional freedom, but that freedom becomes impossible when the past is still being carried into the present. Yesterday's pain has a way of lingering, shaping thoughts, reactions, and expectations in ways that are often unnoticed. When hurt is not addressed or released, it does not simply disappear. It settles beneath the surface and quietly influences how two people interact. Instead of progressing, the relationship becomes trapped in a cycle where past wounds continue to dictate present behavior. Pain from the past often creates emotional barriers. These barriers are built as a form of protection, but they also prevent genuine connection. When someone has been hurt, they may become guarded, hesitant to trust, or quick to assume negative intentions. While these reactions may feel justified, they create distance. Instead of allowing the relationship to grow, they keep it confined within the boundaries of past experiences, limiting its potential. Holding on to past pain also distorts perception. Situations in the present are often viewed through the lens of previous hurt, leading to misunderstandings. A simple mistake can be interpreted as a repeated pattern, even if the intention behind it is different. This distortion creates unnecessary conflict because responses are based not only on what is happening now, but also on what has already happened before. Forgiveness plays a crucial role in breaking free from this cycle. It is not about denying the pain or pretending that it did not happen. It is about making a conscious decision to release its hold. Without forgiveness, the past maintains control over the present. It continues to influence emotions and decisions, preventing true progress. Forgiveness allows space for healing, making it possible to move forward without the weight of previous hurt. Unresolved pain often resurfaces during moments of conflict. Arguments that should be about present issues quickly become entangled with past grievances. Old wounds are reopened, and the conversation shifts away from resolution to accumulation of blame. This pattern prevents conflicts from being resolved effectively because the focus is no longer on the current issue, but on everything that has gone wrong before. Letting go of yesterday's pain requires self-awareness. It involves recognizing how past experiences are affecting present behavior. Without this awareness, it is easy to repeat negative patterns without understanding why. By identifying these influences, a person can begin to separate past experiences from present reality, allowing for more balanced and constructive responses. Trust is deeply impacted by unresolved pain. When someone holds on to past hurt, it becomes difficult to fully trust again. Doubt and suspicion take the place of confidence, creating tension within the relationship. Trust cannot grow in an environment where past pain is constantly being revisited. It requires a willingness to believe in change and to give the present a fair chance. Healing is a process that takes time and effort. It cannot be rushed or forced, but it also cannot be ignored. Both individuals must be willing to address the pain, to communicate openly about it, and to work toward resolution. Avoiding the issue only prolongs the healing process, allowing the pain to remain active rather than gradually fading. Emotional baggage from the past can become a heavy burden. It affects not only the individual carrying it, but also the relationship as a whole. The weight of unresolved issues can make even simple interactions feel strained. Over time, this burden can lead to exhaustion, making it difficult to maintain a healthy and positive connection. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means choosing not to allow the past to control the present. Memories may remain, but their emotional impact can be reduced. This shift allows individuals to approach the relationship with a clearer perspective, free from the constant influence of previous hurt. Communication is essential in releasing past pain. Honest and respectful conversations create an opportunity for understanding and closure. When both individuals are willing to listen and express themselves openly, it becomes easier to address unresolved issues. This process helps to rebuild trust and create a stronger foundation for the future. Patience is necessary when dealing with past pain. Healing does not happen overnight, and there may be setbacks along the way. It is important to allow space for growth and to avoid placing unrealistic expectations on the process. Patience creates an environment where healing can occur naturally without added pressure. Choosing to move forward requires intentional effort. It is not something that happens automatically once pain is acknowledged. It involves making a conscious decision to focus on the present and to invest in the future. This choice must be reinforced through consistent actions that support growth and connection. A relationship cannot thrive if it is constantly looking backward. Progress requires forward movement, and that movement is hindered when the past is still being carried along. By releasing yesterday's pain, both individuals create space for new experiences, deeper connection, and genuine growth. Moving forward together is only possible when both individuals are willing to let go of what is behind them. It requires courage to release pain, to trust again, and to embrace the possibility of something better. When that release happens, the relationship is no longer defined by its past, but by its potential for the future. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness, as if choosing to let go of hurt means accepting what was done or diminishing its impact. In reality, forgiveness requires a level of strength that goes far beyond holding on to pain. It demands emotional control, maturity, and a willingness to rise above instinctive reactions. When someone forgives, they are not excusing the wrong. They are choosing to no longer be controlled by it. This spiritually is what transforms forgiveness from something passive into something deeply powerful. Holding on to anger and resentment may feel justified, especially when the hurt is deep. It can create a sense of control, as if refusing to forgive somehow protects dignity or enforces justice. However, over time, that resentment begins to take a toll. It occupies mental space, drains emotional energy, and influences behavior in ways that extend beyond the original situation. Instead of punishing the one who caused the pain, it often ends up burdening the one who carries it. Forgiveness, on the other hand, releases that burden. It is not about denying the pain or pretending it never happened, but about choosing to let go of its hold. This release creates space for healing, allowing emotions to settle and clarity to return. Without forgiveness, the mind remains tied to the past, constantly revisiting the hurt and reliving the experience. With forgiveness, there is a shift from being trapped in that cycle to moving beyond it. One of the greatest challenges of forgiveness is overcoming the desire for retaliation or validation. When someone is hurt, there is often a strong urge for acknowledgement, apology, or even revenge. These desires can make forgiveness feel like surrender. However, true freedom does not come from external validation. It comes from internal release. Waiting for someone else to make things right can keep a person stuck, while forgiveness allows them to reclaim control over their own emotional state. Forgiveness also plays a critical role in maintaining inner peace. Unresolved anger creates tension, not only in relationships, but within the individual. It can lead to stress, frustration, and even physical effects over time. Peace cannot coexist with constant resentment. By choosing to forgive, a person removes the source of that internal conflict, creating a sense of calm that is not dependent on external circumstances. In relationships, forgiveness is essential for growth and longevity. No relationship is free from mistakes, misunderstandings, or moments of hurt. Without forgiveness, these moments accumulate, creating layers of unresolved tension. Over time, this buildup can weaken the connection and make it difficult to move forward. Forgiveness acts as a reset, clearing away the weight of past issues and allowing the relationship to continue developing. It is important to understand that forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation. Letting go of resentment does not require maintaining the same level of connection with the person who caused the pain. In some cases, a distance may still be necessary. Forgiveness is primarily about internal healing, not external circumstances. It is a decision made for personal peace, regardless of how the other person responds. The process of forgiveness often requires time and reflection. It is not something that can always happen instantly, especially when the pain is significant. It involves acknowledging the hurt, understanding its impact, and gradually releasing it. This process may include difficult emotions, but it ultimately leads to a place of freedom. Rushing forgiveness without processing the pain can make it feel incomplete, while allowing time ensures that it is genuine. Empathy can also play a role in the ability to forgive. Understanding that people are imperfect and capable of making mistakes can create a broader perspective. This does not justify harmful behavior, but it can reduce the intensity of anger. Recognizing that everyone has flaws and limitations can make it easier to let go of resentment and move toward healing. Forgiveness requires humility. It involves setting aside pride and the need to hold on to the role of being wrong. Pride often resists forgiveness because it equates letting go with losing. However, humility shifts the focus from winning or losing to healing and growth. It allows a person to prioritize peace over pride, which ultimately leads to a healthier emotional state. There is also a level of courage involved in forgiveness. It takes courage to face pain directly, to process it, and to make the decision to release it. Avoiding forgiveness may feel easier in the short term, but it prolongs the discomfort. Choosing forgiveness requires stepping into vulnerability and trusting that letting go will lead to something better. Over time, forgiveness strengthens emotional resilience. It teaches the ability to navigate difficult experiences without becoming overwhelmed by them. Each act of forgiveness reinforces the understanding that pain does not have to define or control one's life. This resilience creates a sense of empowerment, making it easier to handle future challenges. Forgiveness also improves overall well-being. When the mind is no longer occupied by resentment, it becomes easier to focus on positive experiences and meaningful connections. Energy that was once spent on holding on to pain can be redirected toward growth, relationships, and personal fulfillment. This shift enhances both mental and emotional health. In many ways, forgiveness is a gift given to oneself. While it may involve another person, its primary impact is internal. It frees the mind, lightens the emotional load, and creates a sense of balance. This freedom is not dependent on circumstances or outcomes. It comes from the decision to release what is no longer beneficial. A lasting peace is not achieved by avoiding pain, but by learning how to respond to it. Forgiveness is a key part of that response. It transforms pain into a source of growth rather than a source of limitation. By choosing to forgive, a person opens the door to a life that is not defined by past hurt, but shaped by strength, clarity, and inner peace. Blame is one of the easiest reactions in any relationship because it shifts attention away from the self and places it onto the other person. When something goes wrong, the natural instinct is to point out what the other person did, how they failed, or why they are responsible for the issue. This may provide temporary relief, but it does nothing to solve the problem. In fact, it often makes things worse by creating defensiveness and distance. A relationship cannot grow when both individuals are focused on assigning fault instead of understanding their own role. Taking responsibility begins with self-awareness. It requires the ability to look inward and examine your own actions, attitudes, and behaviors. This is not always comfortable because it means acknowledging flaws and mistakes. However, without this level of honesty, growth is impossible. When a person becomes aware of how they contribute to the relationship, both positively and negatively, they gain the power to make meaningful changes. One of the reasons people avoid responsibility is because it challenges pride. Admitting fault can feel like weakness, as if it lowers one's position in the relationship. But in reality, taking responsibility demonstrates strength and maturity. It shows a willingness to prioritize the health of the relationship over personal ego. This shift in mindset transforms conflict from a battle into an opportunity for growth. Blame creates a cycle that keeps relationships stuck. When one person points fingers, the other often responds in the same way, leading to a back and forth exchange of accusations. This cycle prevents resolution because neither side is willing to step back and take ownership. Breaking this cycle requires one person to choose a different approach, to stop focusing on the other and start focusing on themselves. Responsibility is not about taking all the blame or ignoring the other person's actions. It is about recognizing your part in the situation. Every interaction involves two people, and both contribute in some way. By acknowledging your role, you create space for honest conversation and mutual understanding. This balanced approach leads to healthier communication and more effective problem solving. Growth in a relationship starts at the individual level. You cannot control how the other person behaves, but you can control how you respond. Taking responsibility means focusing on what you can change rather than what you cannot. This shift in focus empowers you to take action instead of remaining stuck in frustration. It turns the relationship into a place of personal development rather than ongoing conflict. Accountability builds trust. When someone consistently takes responsibility for their actions, it creates a sense of reliability. The other person knows that issues will be addressed honestly rather than avoided or deflected. This sharpens the bond between both individuals and creates a safer environment for open communication. Avoiding responsibility often leads to repeated patterns. When mistakes are not acknowledged, they are likely to happen again. This repetition can create frustration and resentment over time. Taking responsibility breaks this pattern by bringing awareness to the issue and creating an opportunity for change. It allows the relationship to evolve rather than remain stuck in the same cycle. Taking responsibility also improves communication. A. Instead of approaching conversations with accusations, the focus shifts to expressing personal experiences and feelings. A. This reduces defensiveness and makes it easier for both individuals to listen and understand each other. Conversations become more productive, leading to solutions rather than further conflict. Emotional maturity plays a key role in accepting responsibility. It involves managing emotions, especially during difficult moments. When emotions are high, it is easy to react impulsively and place blame. Maturity allows a person to pause, reflect, and choose a more constructive response. This level of control helps maintain respect and prevents unnecessary damage to the relationship. Responsibility also means being proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting for problems to arise, it involves taking steps to strengthen the relationship on a regular basis. This can include improving communication, showing appreciation, and addressing small issues before they become larger ones. Being proactive demonstrates commitment and reduces the likelihood of conflict. Self-improvement is a natural result of taking responsibility. As individuals become more aware of their behavior, they can work on developing better habits and attitudes. This personal growth not only benefits the individual, but also enhances the relationship. When both people are committed to improving themselves, the relationship becomes stronger and more fulfilling. Taking responsibility requires consistency. It is not a one-time action, but an ongoing process. There will be moments of success and moments of failure, but what matters is the willingness to keep trying. Consistent accountability creates a stable foundation that supports long-term growth and connection. Responsibility also encourages empathy. When you focus on your own role, you become more open to understanding the other person's perspective. This creates a more balanced and compassionate approach to the relationship. Empathy reduces conflict and strengthens emotional connection, making it easier to navigate challenges together. A relation called spiritually thrives when both individuals take ownership of who they are and how they contribute. Instead of waiting for the other person to change, they focus on becoming better themselves. This creates a positive cycle where growth and improvement are continuous. Over time, this, of course, transforms the relationship into a space where both the individuals feel valued, respected, and committed to building something meaningful together. A strong relationship is not built on the illusion of perfection, but on the reality of growth. Perfection is an unrealistic expectation that places unnecessary pressure on both individuals. It creates a standard that no one can consistently meet, leading to disappointment and frustration. Growth, on the other hand, acknowledges that both people are imperfect, but willing to improve. This mindset shifts the focus from trying to be flawless to becoming better over time, which is what truly strengthens a relationship. When people chase perfection, they often become overly critical of themselves and each other. Every mistake feels like a failure, and every flaw becomes a source of tension. This environment makes it difficult for the relationship to feel safe or supportive. In contrast, a focus on growth creates room for learning and development. Mistakes are seen as opportunities rather than setbacks, allowing both individuals to evolve without fear of constant judgment. Growth requires self-awareness. Each person must be willing to recognize their own strengths and weaknesses. This level of honesty is not always easy, but it is essential for improvement. Without self-awareness, it is difficult to identify areas that need change. When both individuals are committed to understanding themselves better, they become more capable of contributing positively to the relationship. A growth-oriented relationship values progress over perfection. It celebrates small improvements and acknowledges effort rather than expecting immediate transformation. This perspective reduces pressure and encourages consistency. Over time, these small steps lead to significant changes, creating a stronger and more stable connection between both individuals. Patience is a key element in a relationship focused on growth. Change does not happen instantly, and expecting quick results can lead to frustration. Patience allows both individuals to develop at their own pace, creating an environment where growth can occur naturally. It also helps maintain a sense of understanding and compassion during the process. Communication plays an important role in supporting growth. Open and honest conversations create opportunities for feedback and understanding. When both individuals feel comfortable expressing their thoughts and concerns, it becomes easier to identify areas for improvement. This kind of communication strengthens the relationship by promoting clarity and mutual respect. Support is another essential component. A growth is easier when both individuals encourage each other. This support can come in the form of motivation, reassurance, or simply being present during difficult times. When both people are committed to each other's development, it creates a sense of partnership that goes beyond surface level connection. Accountability is necessary for growth to be effective. It involves taking responsibility for actions and being willing to make changes. Without accountability, growth remains an idea rather than a reality. When both individuals hold themselves accountable, it ensures that progress continues and that the relationship does not become stagnant. Flexibility is also important in a growth-focused relationship. As individuals change and evolve, the relationship must adapt as well. Being open to change allows both people to adjust to new circumstances and challenges. This adaptability keeps the relationship dynamic and prevents it from becoming rigid or outdated. Forgiveness plays a significant role in maintaining growth. Mistakes are inevitable, and without forgiveness, those mistakes can create lasting barriers. Forgiveness allows both individuals to move past errors and continue developing. It ensures that the relationship is not held back by past issues, making room for continuous improvement. Trust is strengthened when growth is prioritized over perfection. When both individuals know that they are accepted despite their flaws, it creates a sense of security. This security encourages openness and honesty, which are essential for growth. Trust becomes the foundation that supports ongoing development within the relationship. A focus on growth also encourages resilience. Challenges and difficulties are viewed as part of the journey rather than as reasons to give up. This mindset allows both individuals to face obstacles together, strengthening their bond in the process. Resilience ensures that the relationship can withstand pressure and continue moving forward. Learning is a continuous process in a growth-oriented relationship. Both individuals remain open to new ideas, perspectives, and ways of improving. This willingness to learn keeps the relationship fresh and engaging. It prevents stagnation and encourages ongoing development. Effort, a defining factor in building a strong relationship. Growth requires consistent effort from both individuals. It is not something that can be achieved through occasional actions. Daily choices, habits, and attitudes all contribute to the overall progress of the relationship. When both people are committed to putting in the effort, the results become evident over time. A relationship built on growth becomes a space where both individuals can thrive. It is not about being perfect, but about becoming better together. This shared commitment creates a deeper connection, one that is based on understanding, support, and continuous improvement.